Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today we've got a new Rotom to talk about from Hot Air Arena. And actually, while we're here, we do happen to have an illustration rare, an artwork rare as they say in Japan, of the same new Rotom. So this is one of the illustration rares, and look, right, we know at this stage that with these sets, the trainer Pokemon sets, the trainers Pokemon, the illustration rares, are going to be the most sought after. They're going to be the ones that people mostly want. They're going to be the ones that attract the ridiculous value later on down the line. We all know this. We all accept this. That's fine. Doesn't mean this Rotom can't be a cool card, and it doesn't mean it can't be a lovely sought after card. So then the question becomes, alright, what does it do, and is it actually any good? Well, what we got here is a basic Pokemon, 60 HP, so it's low and it's small and it's weak. But we have an attack that says, choose one card from your opponent's hand without looking, and your opponent shuffles it into their deck. It's fine, but it's not particularly great. I mean, look, it is a basic Pokemon. It is for a single energy. So you can do this turn one going second. You get some damage on the board. You get rid of a card in hand. It's not exactly amazing. Yes, there will be times you can play like an Iono, for instance, and then put them down to like a one-card hand, and then use this to get rid of the only card in hand, leave them in top deck mode, but you're still only doing 20 damage. It's not like that's going to have a big effect in the long run, I'm sorry. Useful little attack. One I could absolutely see play maybe in a control deck down the line or something along those lines, but realistically, what we're talking about here is the second attack. The second attack is the one that's got a chance to be really very, very good. And what we've got here is 2 colorless energy, Gadget Show, and it does 30 damage for each Pokemon tool attached to all of your Pokemon. So if you get enough tools on the field, hey, wonderful news, you're going to be fine. And this is going to make some of you remember a Pokemon we had a little while ago here. This is Tool Drop Trubbish. This is literally just Tool Drop Trubbish. Except, well, it's not literally just Tool Drop Trubbish. I'm being a bit of a liar here. This does 30 damage for each of your tools, rather than 20 damage for each tool, yours and your opponent's. I mean, realistically, your opponent's not going to have that many tools on most of the time, and this is 30 times, but the other thing you need to remember here, of course, is that Trubbish was around in a format where we just had much lower HP overall. So now, all of a sudden, it might be 30 times. 30 times is good, but we do also need to bear in mind we need to hit higher. Like, let's take something like Gardevoir, for instance. If you've got 10 tools attached, you'll be doing 300 damage, just 10 away from one hit KO in Gardevoir. You need 11 tools to hit up to 330. And 11 tools is doable. It's absolutely doable. But it's asking a lot to really get there. And that's my biggest kind of issue here, is the fact that you need so many tools. Like, against single prize decks, you're going to be fine. If you're hitting for weakness, you're going to be fine. It's going to be 60 for each tool that you've got in play. So, if you attach 3 tools, 90 damage, double it to 180, and Squawkabilly, you've done it with 20 damage to spare. Easy one-hit KO on something like a Squawkabilly, which is a 2-prize Pokemon that sees a huge amount of play. Another one you might be able to get hit is Pidgeot. Pidgeot's quite good. You get 5 tools down, 150. Double it with weakness, 300. There's your one-hit KO on Pidgeot, again for 2 prizes. So single prizes, you're good. 2 prizes that are weak, you're good. But your big 2-prize Pokemon that aren't weak, you are going to struggle a fair bit more. And of course, we don't actually have a 2 colorless energy card around at the moment. Previously we could be playing something like Double Turbo Energy, but that is of course rotating. So there is even a question here. I mean, it's 2 colorless energy on a basic, right? You can use any energy acceleration you like. You can use something like a Crispin, or, I don't know if you really want to go Crispin, but you could. You can use basically whatever you like here, but it is still something you've got to actually bear in mind and work towards. But what have we got here in terms of partners? And the answer is, we've actually got a few. One which I really like here is the Farfetch'd from Twilight Masquerade. It is a 70 HP Pokemon, and when you play it from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you can search your deck for a Pokemon tool card and attach it to this Pokemon. So essentially, every time you bench a Farfetch'd, you just get a tool attached to it. That's a big win. Obviously, you can only actually have 6 Pokemon in play, which locks you at 6 tools, but then again, we've got a couple of answers for that as well. Now, if you just want more Pokemon, that's where Area Zero Underdepths comes in. You will need a Terra Pokemon of some description to activate that card, but then again, we all know nowadays you can literally just play Pikachu, and Pikachu is a basic Terra Pokemon that will activate this stadium while also not being one-hit KO'd. That's a big win. The other thing we've got here is Revavroom. Revavroom, now it might be a 2-prize Pokemon, which is slightly annoying, admittedly, and a stage 1, which is moderately annoying but not as annoying. But you can have up to 4 Pokemon tools attached to this. So now you get 4 of them, that's 16 tools, plus on the... and it's just essentially infinite tools. Like I've said, 11 tools here, 330. There's the odd 340 HP Pokemon. Realistically, 11 tools, the vast majority of the time, is going to be all you actually need here. So get your 11 tools, you're good, and with Revavroom, you're going to be able to get them out. It does mean you're playing a bunch of 2-prize Pokemon on your bench, which your opponent can try and KO. But if you spread your tools around enough, if they take out your Revavroom, sure, you lose a couple of tools, but you don't actually lose your attacker, which is doing a bunch of damage, and you get a couple of tools back, and you will be good to go. So Revavroom works here. And I do like Farfetch'd. I love the idea that I can search out these Pokemon and then just go and get the tool immediately. Although do remember, the ability specifically says when you play it from your hand onto your bench. So let's say you use Buddy Poffin, for instance. That actually won't work here, because Buddy Poffin, you search your deck and bench them, and you need to be benching from your hand, not from the deck. So do bear in mind, if you want to be using stuff like Farfetch'd, just remember Buddy Poffin, it doesn't work. Sorry about that, you're not playing them from the hand. But we do have some other stuff we can play around with here as well. Electrode, I like Electrode. Electrode has got Boom Boom Chain, single lightning energy, 20 damage. Before doing damage, you may discard any number of Pokemon tools from your Pokemon, and it does 40 more damage for each card discarded in this way. So essentially what you do with Electrode here is you mostly run with Rotom. Most of the time you're going with Rotom, but Rotom is 30 times. This is 20 plus 40 times, but of course, Rotom, you don't do anything to the tools. Electrode, you have to discard them. So Electrode isn't an every turn thing, and if it was good enough as an every turn thing, we've had it since 151, it would be seeing play. If it was a good enough card to see play regularly, it would be seeing play regularly. It's not, ergo, it's not. But as just kind of a little tech option in here, that one big KO, or that one big game-ending attack, yeah, that will work quite nicely. Electrode will do the trick. I really like Electrode with this. Not as an every turn thing, but as an occasional little helper, I do like this very much indeed. Is this going to be good enough? I have my reservations. I worry that the energy is going to be a bit of a pain. Do remember it's a lightning Pokemon, of course, so I've said you've got a lot of different options for accelerating energy. One of the ones you've got here is Electric Generator. Now, in order to really take advantage of Electric Generator, you need to play a lot of lightning energy, and I'm not sure you necessarily want to here, but I'm saying it's at least an option. But I'm a little worried about that. I'm a little worried about the damage output. Even at 30 times, it doesn't build up that fast. But I like some of the other tricks we've got here, and I like being able to take advantage of all of these tools, and I don't know. Like, I'm not sitting here and saying this is the best deck in the format, but I am sitting here and saying you should take a look at this one. This is one that could end up being a lot of fun. This is one that could come out of nowhere and surprise people. And we're living in a world where we just saw Feraligatr take down a 5,000 player tournament. So I'm just saying, kind of feels like anything's possible right now. Either way, I'm giving this one between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. That's what I think, but I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at Lawasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.